welcome one and all to the final racing here in round one. And once again, we're with C5. I've just realised I've titled the stream wrong. I put C2 rather than C5. So apologies for that. I'll change that straight away after this evening's racing. But joined once again with C5, one of the most competitive tiers we have in RLH, and actually it's almost their sort of 1 year anniversary. The first ever C5 race was in the Asia Cup at the end of 2020, at the end of F1 2019, and we are back with C5, of course, on the Thursday with C6, and who eat the first car out on track in the Williams. So new faces up and down the field, but a few returning faces as well. And of course, one thing to consider, I'm sure a lot of other guys will be watching out for this one, because of course there's a big team championship going on amongst all the tiers as well. I know it's C5. I made a mistake. I'll change it straight away at the end of the stream. One of the Williams though has gone off, so mixed fortunes at the moment for the Williams. The track temperature is 34 degrees. The air temperature is 27. And well, let's see how the guys can get on. A few guys opting for the medium compound tyres. I know the title's wrong, I've said it. It was a mistake anyway. Pui starting his flying lap, heading down towards turn one. I'll change it literally as it finishes. Hard on the brakes, dropping it down into second gear. This first sector, pretty much two corners is all what you really have to think about. Heavy braking zone down in towards turn one. And as it looks at turn three, the end of the second DRS straight, that tightening corner, and then you've got to open up the car, drops it up in the fourth gear, and now flat out through what I think is turn number 4. Up towards the top of the hill, I'm going to drop on board with the Williams as he flicks through, taking it quite sensibly through the very fast turn 5. Long corner of turn 6, using all the track on the exit, but a little bit too much. Unfortunately, he invalidates his time. The next car to be setting a lap, is it? Oh, I think both the Ferraris are on out lap, so we're going to jump to Eugen. Actually, Fifi, fair enough, with the next car on track. Fifi keeping his lap completely valid at the moment as he works his way through the middle sector. So adjusting fourth gear, using the curve there on the exit, and now thinking about that launch onto this straight in the transition between the second and third sector, getting a little bit twitchy, but all good so far for the AlphaTauri driver, one of the more experienced drivers in the field. A lot of sports for Daddy Spritz, of course, our Race of Champions winner. Oh, and there is a Williams. Good avoiding action there from Fifi. He may get the time, he doesn't get the time invalidated, but the Williams driver is out of qualifying. It's 1:17 for Fifi, and he was definitely compromised there massively. Unfortunately for him, Sam Hewitt just setting a lap time. Looks like one of the Renaults having to go really slowly and avoid that incident at the final corner, the racing point. That's going to be a name to pronounce. Goes on a provisional pole. I think just, well, completely held up there as Hughes sets a better time in the AlphaTauri, goes into that provisional pole time. Octavio, good first sector, nipping into the 26s, and his middle sector is pretty good too. Times starting to come in now as we've got the Alfa Romeo of Daddy Spritz goes over a second faster at the front, and well, what do you expect from our champion of champions? And Haas just gone into P3 as Jones goes into P2. Octavio across the line, he goes into P3 now, and the times are starting to come in. We're starting to see some more representative times as a few guys having to get out of the way there as Maverick goes into P7 on the medium tyres. Got the tyre graphic up straight away, and we can see Huss also on the medium tyres. That's a really good time from him, as that looks a bit awkward. What was going on down here between Pui and, I'm still not trying to pronounce that name, Zabajaka. Let's go with that, Zabajaka. Oh, getting a little bit wrong. Haas has retired, and that will try and find the Red Bull that's about to see him. Oh, the McLaren missed both. Milo on his time on the medium tyres, unfortunately has invalidated. Yeah, that I did that yesterday actually. I don't know how I didn't retire, but very easy to do. Clip the curb a little bit too much, it unsettles the car. Shag attack on the medium tyres in the Mercedes, because I've got a bit of a Mercedes bias, being a Mercedes driver myself this season. Of course, wanting them to do well. We'll see what Shaq can do on the medium compound tyres. First sector, pretty good, pretty representative, I think, in comparison to what a lot of people have been doing. Goncalves has gone on to provisional pole. It's a very good time. A little bit ahead of Daddy Spritz, and the Alfa Romeo's not split by much. in second and third. Oh, that's a bit deep from Jack Attack, and he hasn't gone away with it. Invalidates his time, might be able to back off and go again. Milo invalidating his time we saw earlier on, but it says a 19.4 with that lap. The Renault driver of Alte coming towards the final corner, down to third gear. Now builds his way back up, foot to the floor. DRS open and across the line. It's going to be 1 minute 17 flat. Goes P10. Did an extra lap on those soft compound tyres though. So the first set of runs is done. Annoyed Gamer on the medium tyres as well. We haven't actually. I think they were asking what are the best tyres to start the race on just before. And well, I think so far this week we've seen that maybe if you start on the medium tyres or the hards, it can benefit you. So seeing if they can get into that top 10 potentially. On the mediums, it could be a tall order. A lot of quick drivers in C5 for the Euro Cup. Around the final corner, Annoyed Gamer about to start his flying lap, and we'll see what he can do as he heads down towards turn number 1. Just about reaching 315 kph. So actually, from best of my knowledge, he's running quite a low downforce setup in comparison to what a lot of other people will be running. And he goes down into turn number 3. Gets the car hooked up nicely through there, runs wide, and now still flat out through the kink of 4 and then climbing up towards the top. And we'll see what his first sector time is going to be. And on the medium tyres, again, pretty good, quite conservative, I think, through turn 5. Not really using the curbs all too much, but I think maybe just getting that time in is what he's aiming for, and looking to make up time later on. The Racing Point in front gets out of the way very nicely, using all the track he has available to him, but keeping within track limits. Looks like Skipper has gone again. Miles had a better time like we thought he might, as he gets was invalidated his first run. Annoyed Gamer going well in the Mercedes. The Williams just about to start a flying lap. I think that's Pui currently down at P17. Of course, Matt Johnson is out of the session. We saw his car on the final corner. So Williams flying solo, and so Haas at the moment. However, Goncalves currently on provisional pole around the final corner for Annoyed Gamer. Where will the time put him? He moved himself up in a P14 with that time. And Skipper on the soft tyres invalidated. And maybe a bit of a mistake, because that time is a little bit off the pace you maybe would expect. I think he might be going again on this occasion. Daddy Spritz just behind him as well. So both of these guys on a flying lap. And I think maybe a little bit too close for comfort, especially by the time we get to that middle sector. We'll see how this one plays out. We can sort of watch Skipper's lap using the curb on the entry. Gets the car a lot tighter than what Daddy Spritz managed, running a little bit wide. See if we can compare the first sector times for both drivers. Daddy Spritz is on a 16.6. He's 0.4 of a second up at the moment. What a first sector for him. Skipper was a 26.9. Pretty fitting of what a lot of people are doing. Daddy Spritz has the pace. It could cost him into this middle sector. Really aggressive on the second curb. Just about keeps within track limits. And Fifi goes on to provisional pole with a time of a 15.5. And Daddy Spritz is really caught up to the back of Skipper. Not ideal for the Alfa Romeo drive. We'll see what the middle sector is looking like. Has he kept the time up? He has 0.4 of a second improvement. This is far from ideal for the Alfa Romeo driver. Should have left a little bit more room at the start of the lap. Skipper's pushing for all he can as well. Where can Skipper go? Currently down in P19. Both of these guys need a lap in. Skipper just touching the inside curve that unsettled the car. Through the final corner, Daddy Spritz puts on a provisional pole. He's going to have a lovely toe towards the line, foot to the floor, and it's going to be a 15.3. So lost about half a tenth, but goes on to provisional pole. Nevertheless, by just over a tenth of a second. Jones, a tenth and a bit up as well. Can he get into the 1 minute 15s? Goes a little bit deep in the Racing Point. You've got the AlphaTauri, I think, Hugen. Actually, I think the AlphaTauri's come into the pit lane. So Jones will be the next car to set a time. Round the final corner he goes. Already run out of VRS deployment. And towards the line, it's going to be a 16.1 loss of time in the final sector. Oh, it gets me every time. Zambajaka in the first sector, half a second up for him. So, and that was a 27.1, so I think he may have made a mistake on his previous lap. We'll see how he fares for the rest of the lap. Really committed through that corner there into the chicane. Keeping it nice and clean. It must be saved. Oh, that was a good save. As he, well, a little bit too much curb for his liking. Let's see how he takes this very fast corner. A little bit too tightly and a bit of a snap. Did very well, and I don't think he's too happy with that one. And it was looking to be a good lap time. I think Octavio, not an ideal first sector, and maybe he's on an in lap, already 2 lap old. Soft tyres. A 10th up for Alte. How's Gone Calves doing? Just... Oh, he's had to back off. Oh, he's just gone with provisional pole, hasn't he? He's just nicked it. 14.4, 9/10 of a second up. What a time from the Haas driver. Brilliant lap, it must be said. Jones looks like he's gone again. He's about half a tenth up, but he's going to duck into the pit lane. Instead, Sam Hewitt. Sam Hewitt's flying at the moment as well. He's a second up on his time. The times are starting to tumble now. Drivers are finding pace and more pace. And we'll see now how he gets on. A second, 1.3 seconds up. This could be another driver looking to get into the 1 minute 14s. Where's everyone finding this pace all of a sudden? Sam flying in the Ferrari over the first 2 sectors. We'll see if he can hook it all up in the final sector. Nice line as he's maybe trying to prioritise the exit here. Using the curb, foot to the floor, and it's going to be a 1 minute 14.8. Goes in a P2. Great time from Sam. And Alte starts another lap. He looks to be doing just a lot of laps instead of picking up. See what time. See how Shack Attack gets on in the Mercedes. 16.2 is pretty competitive on the medium. See how this first sector is going to fare for him. We can have that comparison between the mediums and the softs, and it's a 16.6, 3.5 tenths of a second up. That was clean and quick through turn 5. That's definitely a point on the track where you can make up lots of time. Now the chicane has been catching a couple people out. Will it catch out Shack Attack? No. Very well negotiated, using all the track, and that's sort of the esportsy line. A lot of the C1 guys I noticed were using that sort of line last night, really using all the curbs. Chucks the car in 6th gear, and this is looking like a very quick time for Shack Attack. Purple in the middle sector for the Mercedes driver. 26.3, that was a very quick time, and well, it's just a commitment through the corners. Can he find... Well, he needs to find about 1.8 seconds on his delta. It needs to be a mighty final sector. I think this could be good enough for the front row. Mercedes versus Haas is not something we're going to be saying this season in real life, but towards the line it's going to be a 14.5. He's just over a 10, just under a 10th behind the Haas driver. Great lap from him. Sam coming into the pit lane. It looks Milo on a lap, 4/10 of a second up, and that was judged to perfection through turn 5, really utilising all of that inside curb, but doing it legally. Now towards the chicane. The McLaren driver wanting to make sure it's nice and clean, and that's a well negotiated chicane for him. One of the more experienced drivers in the field. And see what this middle sector split is going to look like. Very nice line through there. Mate, thought about taking a little bit of a toe. A second up at the moment. This could be... Can he find a little bit more time and jump into the 1 minute 14s? Coming towards the line now is an Alpha Tauri. That's Hugen finishing his out lap. Then we have a Renault. Goose starting his final lap time. Milo, a bit of a moment coming out of the penultimate corner, around the final corner, short checking up to 5th gear, running towards the line. Can it be a 14? Yes, it can. 1 minute 14 at point 902 goes into P4. Great time from Milo. Medium tyres, interesting from Zabajaka. I'm going to get that name wrong so many times. Medium tyres for him, much fitted on, it's much easier to follow. Milo gets the way very nicely. We'll see if he can find improvements. It'll be really interesting to see if he can get into this top 10 on the medium compound tyres. 2/10s up at the moment. Oh, and that was a big snap. Really unsettled the car through there. The car did not like that. The way he took the curb there, but brilliant save. Somebody set a personal best. I think that's Pui in the Williams. He goes into P5 on 2-lap old soft compound tyres. Oh, Zabajaka just... Oh, he's annoyed again. Unfortunate for him there. Just ran that little bit too wide. Goot, I believe, on an in-lap potentially. A little bit down. Or maybe he's going to go again. He's going to go again, I think. Who has just set a new personal best? How many jumped up the order? Not too sure. May have been Hugen into P8. Zabajaka into the pit lane. Jones up on his time. Utilising all of the track and more there. Keeping him in track limits though. He's 7.5 tenths of a second up. So another driver maybe looking to jump into the 1 minute 14s if he can just hook up this final sector. Nice and easy on the traction. And that he is. Around the final corner we go already. Run out of deployment, but across the line we go. DRS open, it's going 1 minute 15, just lost a bit of time in that final sector. 15.3 puts him into P7, jumping ahead of both Alfa Romeo's. Daddy Spritz backed off. I think he might be looking to go again, maybe invalidate. Oh, not sure. Not a good race run for him. Cosmos, though, purple in the middle sector. As we see, finding a little bit of time. Can he jump maybe both Alpha Tauris in that Alfa Romeo? The battle of the Alphas towards the line. He's going 1 minute 15.4, and he does. He goes into P8 with that time, and let's follow Daddy Spirit. So I think this could be definitely a 1 minute 14. Maverick's retired. Where's that? It's in the pit lane. We don't have to worry about that one on track. DRS open, using third gear to sort of get better traction on the run down towards turn 3. And we go a little bit of sliding through there, but kept the car nicely now foot planted as we rise up the hill. No cars in front to worry about just yet. He's found time in that first sector, gone purple, quickest of anyone, has the Alfa Romeo. Of course, our champion of champions in the race of champions, coming third, in C6 last season, sliding through the chicane but held it well, and commitment is what this lap has, and it's valid. Now towards this very tricky, I think it might be turn 12, flicking it through 6th gear, doles it up into 7th. Now what's the split going to be? 0.2 of a second up. Decent middle sector for him. Can he get into 1 minute 14s? At the moment, he's going to jump Hubby and move himself up in a P5, but he will be wanting more. Can he find a 10th or 2 in this final sector? It's been pretty clean so far. One more corner to negotiate. The car hanging on for dear life. Around the final corner, DRS open and running towards the line is going to be a 1 minute 15.005. Just misses out, but does move up into P5 with that time. Octavio just starting his lap, finding time in the first sector. Quite conservative through there, but keeps it valid, and that is the most important thing for a lap like this. Goncalves just starting his flying lap. He's heading down towards turn number 3. The Red Bull driver negotiating this middle sector. Number 2, not a number you often see being used. Oh, that's a nice camera angle. Well, within track limits, and he's 0.3 of a second up, so maybe trying to jump into 1 minute 15s, gain a couple positions. See how the final sector fares for him. And Gamer also starting a lap time. We'll jump straight to the Haas of Goncalves. After this, 2 Mercedes, line astern, just coming towards the end of the first sector. However, Octavio rounds the final corner, and it's going to be a 1 minute 15.7. Great time for him. Goes P11, which always, has its advantages. It must be said. Goncalves, though, is flying at the moment. Great first sector time, great middle sector time. Can he hook it all up? But actually, it's Shakatak who's gone purple in the first sector. He's the man flying. He's about a 10th and a half ahead of Goncalves. The checkered flag is out. These are the final times. The Haas driver rounds the final corner onto the pitch straight. It's going to be a 1 minute 14.3. Finds a 10th and a half. Shakatak, though, not giving up. He is a 10th and a half up on his time. Runs a little bit wide. Will he get away with an invalidation? Yes, he will. And I don't think he lost a lot of time there, did the Mercedes driver. This could be our front row, but who is going to be on pole position? Around the final corner, trying to carry as much speed as he can. Opens up now. DRS open, not a lot more he can do. It's going to be a 14.4. Finds the improvements, but not enough to challenge out in front. Just behind, Sam Hewitt flying as well. Milo gets away very nicely. He is not going to finish his lap time. So maybe a little issue for him out there. But Sam rounds the final corner, onto the bit straight. Opens DRS. It's a 1 minute 14.5. Just misses out on the front row of the grid, but a great time nonetheless. Who else is setting times? Fifi has invalidated. Octavio has invalidated, and I don't think we'll be challenging with a time that is 20 seconds off. So that is our qualifying done, dusted, and Goncalves. Well, in the end, he had it all under control, but a very competitive session, and a top 3 that look like they're here to race. I mean, a 10th separates sort of each of them, if you understand what I mean. But some 3 very quick times, it must be said, to kick off the season here in the Euro Cup. Of course, for myself, happy with Mercedes' progress. Probably the best team performance, I would say. So well done to the Mercedes team. Shakatak in P2. Of course, it's a long run down towards turn 1, so definitely you want to be up there near the front, but there's still possibilities for him to make a move down in towards turn number 1. And then we have Goncalves ahead of the 2 British drivers of Shakatak and Sam Hewitt. Milo in the McLaren in P4. just nipping in to the 1 minute 14. Then we've got two more Brits of Daddy Spritz and Annoyed Gamer. Then Pui, Jones, Beefy, Cosmos round out your top 10, and we'll run through the rest of the grid on the formation lap. But very competitive. I mean, we've got a couple of groups. We've got the guys in the sub 14s. We've got a very sort of, and then a nice sort of split run. You know, 0.2, 0.3, 0.3, 0.4, 0.4, 0.6, 0.7s. And I think it's going to be very competitive. Two guys on the medium tyres, so definitely a little bit more pace in the bag, if you would. And we haven't really seen the full extent of Matt Johnson, of course, making that mistake early on in the session, but he's back in the lobby. And hopefully, he is ready to race and looking forward to this one as much as I'm sure we all are. The guys will be picking their setups. I do believe it is a dry race, and dry for all of it. So no major dramas, and now it's the decision of strategy. I think the conventional one, if you're near the front, on the, you know, you're forced to start on the soft compound tyres, you're going to be looking for a soft hard, or maybe a soft medium, depending on how you want to play it. But if you're a little bit further back, outside the top 10, you've got a free choice of tyre. What are you going to go with? Your mediums, hards are at your disposal. Maybe you want to go for the softs. Be quick on the start, because I imagine a lot of guys outside the top 10 will be on an alternative tyre. So maybe you want to try and make up positions early, because I think the tyre, having that tyre advantage, especially in the first couple of laps, could be quite massive. Of course, the tyres fire up a lot easier as well. The softer the compound is, but we're able to see what tyres everyone is on now as we jump on to the formation lap. And there we go. That's the predicted pressure down below. It's suggesting a two-stop is nailed on. But we'll have a look at the tyres, and that's very interesting. Very, very interesting. But we'll run through the grid. As per normal, we've got Goncalves on pole position. Shakazak in P2. Sam Hewitt takes up third position. Milo is fourth, and Daddy Spriggs makes it 5 different teams in the top 5. Then comes Annoyed Gamer. Pui in the Williams. Jones, Fifi and Cosmos round out the top 10. Then on your medium tyres we have Skipper, Octavio and Hugin. The only driver outside of the top 10 on the soft compound tyres is Alte. In the Renault, then it's I'm going to get it wrong every time. Zabijaka, the Racing Point driver on the medium tyres, and it's Gu Huss also on the mediums. Maverick, the only driver in the field on the hard compound tyres, and Matt Johnson rounds out the field on the mediums. I think it's going to be a very interesting one, because strategy, I think it's quite important in this track. It's quite high tyre wear. It must be said, I think we saw the first pit stop, that was a Mercedes jumping about. The first pit stop is predicted for around sort of lap 6, which I think is a little bit early. I think you maybe want to try and extend it towards almost lap 9, lap 10, and then you can take a set of mediums to the end a lot more comfortably. But of course, safety cars, virtual safety cars, can mix it up all together, and that's something we've got to be wary of. The Mercedes and the Ferrari will be hunting down the Haas into turn 1, and Pui's been disqualified from the formation lap. Luckily, it was near the end of the formation lap, but his tyres might just be that little bit colder than the rest, so maybe something to watch out for towards the back end of the top 10. As he round the final corner, Skipper, he'll be hoping those tyres will warm up. See, medium hard is a strategy that's very doable around this track, and of course on fresh mediums makes it that little bit easier. And we're just waiting for Matt Johnson and Maverick to round and join into their grid spots, and we're ready to get racing for the first time in the Euro Cup with C5. We're here in Hungary, just waiting the lights, and here they are. We got 3, we got 4, we got 5 red lights here in Hungary for the start of the Euro Cup, and it's lights out, and away we go. Who can get the best of the start? I think the Mercedes driver of Shakatak has got a great start, trying to go alongside the Haas. No, he hasn't actually. The Haas in the second phase got a much better getaway. The Ferrari of Sam Hewitt losing out. It's the Alfa Romeo of Daddy Spritz. That's a dive and a half for the Racing Point. He's not got away with it at all. Spinning there. I don't know if he's gone full the way around. He's managed to regain himself and carry on. I think that might have been Jones there. The Williams driver trying to go down the inside of the Alfa Romeo. Oh, there's more wing damage flying over. I think that might be the Racing Point. Further up the road, Shakatak is still behind Goncalves. Daddy Spritz making positions. He's now in the effective P3, and Sam Hewitt lost the position down into P4. That's going to be a warning for a few drivers. This first lap, heavy fuel loads, it's difficult to keep within track limits, especially at the top of turn number 5. Making up positions, I think there is Hugen. Has it sorted itself out? It has. Hugen made up a couple positions, so has Skipper on those medium tyres. Big losers in that one. Milo's dropped all the way down. People taking that chicane, it looks a little bit messy. Is there a move on the way back there? Not quite too sure. This is not Zabajaka, this is a Haas car. Nevertheless, there he is. Oh, he's trying to go 2 abreast up here, not quite an Gamer. Trying to find a way through. I think he's lost a couple of positions on this opening lap. Unfortunately, Alteo, though, making up quite a few positions. It's all going on. Huss losing to Matt Johnson. Matt Johnson's made up loads of places on the first lap. He started down in P19. Haas driver fighting it back, though, and keeping ahead and holding on to that 13th place. Goncalves, though, leads the way. And already thinking about breaking this, so he wants to make 1 second to his rivals behind. And make sure he can try and break that DRS, because there is 2 DRS zones around this track, so it can be a little bit important. Pui. Oh, big snap of oversteer from him. Luckily, though, Cosmos not close enough to capitalise. Oh, and down the inside, Milo goes on. Sorry, Gu goes on Milo. 2 drivers into pit lane. That's a Noi Gamer. Oh, trying to got the position back. Fair play to Milo. Makes the move work. What's happened out front? Nothing. I think there's timing order. Sort of the timing column just having a bit of an interesting one. Why is he ramming the gears? I don't think he actually is. What's happening to Maverick? Further back, losing a position to Milo and Gu. Maybe just getting a bit out of shape as Skipper. What's happening to Skipper? Skipper's in the wall. Rejoins as safely as he can. His teammate's going to scoot past him. He's trying to get back on the track. The runner goes down the inside. He's got wing damage. So he picks up the first 3-second time penalty of the day. Maverick being held up a little bit. I can't tell if he's got wing damage. He has not, so well done to Skipper for trying to save that one, but it's not been a great opening lap as Maverick now trying to go down the inside. He's going to try and make the position work because the medium size gives a little bit more grip, and he keeps running outside and a little bit of a touch. Of course, he caused Maverick into a half spin, but still facing the right way. Shack Attack doing its absolute best to keep within DRS as Goncalves tried to stretch this out. You see behind people trying to break the toe as best they can, as some of the gaps are starting to break over a second. Milo pressuring Zabajaka into turn 1, who's later on the brakes. Pretty equal, it must be said, and Zabajaka holds on to that P13 for the time being. But with a bit of overtake and a bit of speed, Milo's going to go down the inside. He did that on the Renault the previous lap. Can the Racing Point hold this one around the outside? Just doesn't have the mechanical grip to do so. And Milo starting to make up for the positions he lost, as we can see. If I can find them. That's not the right one. This is. Yeah, so down 9 positions for Milo. We're not quite sure what happened to him in all of that. A lot of guys near the front making up quite a few positions. Noi Gamer and Octavio's sort of the big 2 losers at the back in terms of positions and time. Both of them coming for an early pit stop, but they might try and bring themselves into play with strategy or a safety car later on. Both of them on the medium compound tyres. But so far, the race on is getting to that phase where even with DRS it is difficult to pass. Pretty close to the back of Fifi. However, Fifi's within DRS range of Sam Hewitt, so even with overtake deployed, it's going to be a tough job for Pui to find a way through. He's hunting for that slipstream, not really gaining on Fifi, which is quite interesting. Maybe trying a bit of a switchback. Actually, Pui's lined this one up to absolute perfection. Running wide is Fifi, and Pui, it's a great switchback move, and he moves himself up in a P5. Now he'll be trying to hunt down. Oh, actually, the Alfa Romeo is going to send it around the inside. Fair play to Pui. Gave him the inside, spotted what was happening, and keeps hold of that position. Further back, looks like Altair's moved up into P9. I think there was a move back here. I think Milo might have got ahead of Matt Johnson. Making use of those soft compound tyres is the McLaren driver. Of course, top 15 score points, so we are still looking at a battle in the points. Top 15 score points in the Euro Cup, keeping everything alive, so it's definitely worth it. Noi Gamer and Octavio pushing on and trying to make the best of an unfortunate opening lap for them. Zabajaka let me be a little bit more confident. Matt Johnson, I think what's difficult about this middle section, if you mess up one corner, you lose that rhythm working through, and I think that might have been what happened there. A little bit scruffy chicane for the Williams driver. Running wide is the Racing Point. That might be a warning for him. He might have just got away with it if he was lucky. That's Nugent battling away, and actually out front, Shack Attack is out of DRS range. He's pulled himself back in. I reckon he might have DRS at the moment, and Matt Johnson as well to avoid a spin there. but does lose position to Zabajaka. However, it is going to be DRS for neither of them. I don't know. However, the Williams driver going down the inside. He's got the high ground on the inside. The Renault trying to pick up pieces where he can. Who can get the better of the exits? Sort of squeezing him wide there. I would say probably hard, but fair racing is up in front. Eugen has lost the position to Huss. Who picks up another 3-second time penalty. Needs to be careful with that one. Already 6 seconds in 5 laps. Gu closes back on the of Zabajak, and Matt Johnson runs wide. And that slowed down for it. On the exit, he probably would have picked up a warning for that. And Zabajaka, well, he seems to have a bit of an unstable setup. He's very twitchy in the racing point. But he's doing very well so far to keep hold of that car. I would say he's really closing in on Jones, but a scruffy corner there. He was on the grass a little bit. It's cost him on this occasion, Pui, after dispatching Fifi, getting ahead of him on the previous lap, has really caught up to the battle between Daddy Spritz and Sam Hewitt. Down towards turn 1, I don't think they'll be close to any moves, but Jones into the pit lane quite early, I think, but maybe following that sort of strategy that we saw on the formation lap. Daddy Spritz not having the best of exits. Can Sam Hewitt capitalise on this? The straight is not long enough, and the corner comes up too quickly for the Ferrari driver. Out in front, though, Shakentak and Goncalves. Shakentak's managed to reel in the Haas driver quite a bit. The gap now half a second as we are on to lap 6. Maverick really closing in on Skipper. No way through for him just there. Seems to have really got these hard tyres working all of a sudden. As the Ferrari driver and Neugamer just getting ahead of Jones, who's just come out of the pit lane. Down in that battle, Sam Hewitt very close to the back of Daddy Spritz. Probably joined this battle. We've got a great battle brewing for 3rd place in this race. And we'll see now. We'll be seeing he moves down towards turn 1. Daddy Spritz needs to really think about that exit. Can he get it right? Oh, but Sam Hewitt goes in a little bit deep. That could compromise him. And oh, here comes the Williams trying to get involved. Actually diving into the pit lane is Sam Hewitt. He comes into the pits. So maybe trying a bit of an undercut on his rivals. What tyres will he be moving on to? And actually Fifi and Cosmo is joining. Oh, and Sam's picked up 5 seconds of speeding in the pits. Far from ideal. Alteo staying out on track. And it's hard tyres for Sam Hewitt. So Sam Hewitt maybe suggesting he's going to the end of this race. Just kept ahead of Cosmos there. Moving on to the medium tyres for Fifi as well. As Cosmos and Milo put on the mediums. Bit of battle down towards turn 1. Skipper and Maverick still going at it. DRS is in the favour of Mavericks. I don't think Skipper will fight this one back. And on this occasion he can't. Pui's already closed up to the back of Daddy Spritz. Seems to be in a really good phase of the race for the Williams driver as he follows the Alpha, keeping nicely within track limits there. And penalties could be a deciding factor towards the end. We're sort of about 25%, well actually we're 20% of the way through this race, and already a couple of penalties starting to creep in up and down the field. Around the final we go, staying out for another lap is Daddy Spritz, same as Goncalves. Shakentak is into the pit lane. What will the Mercedes crew be putting on that car? Looks like another set of softs. Interesting for the Mercedes driver. Quite an aggressive strategy. I quite like it, to be honest. You know, committing to that 2-stop, but being bold and going soft, and then medium, or soft, then hard. So seeing what he can do, and well, he's going to try and undercut here. But look who's going for the move. Pui round the outside. And well, round the outside was then switched to the inside, and there might have been a bit of a celebratory weave from the Williams driver, but in this phase of the race he looks to be very quick at the moment. We'll keep an eye on the delta between him and Goncalves. I think Goncalves might be pushing on this lap. He knows. We might not know what tyres Shakentak has put on. Further back, Milo and Alti going at it once again. Can Milo go round the outside? The Williams driver is going to try and squeeze him on the exit, because Milo, it then favours him as he has the inside for the next corner, and he just keeps ahead. That's a great move from Milo to keep hold of P15. Let's come up towards the top of turn 5. The McLaren driver has the advantage on lap number 8. Some really good moves shaping up. Shack though, this is not what he would be wanting. A little bit of traffic. Maverick trying to run his own race. He's run a very good race so far. And the Mercedes driver, well, he wants to be making use of these soft compound tyres. Into the pit lane is our top 3. Goncalves, Pui and Daddy Spritz all coming in, getting rid of their soft compound tyres. Has it worked? Has it worked for the Mercedes driver? Goncalves has put on mediums. That suggests a 2-stop. What are the Williams and the Alfa Romeo going to put on? Hard for both of them. Where would Daddy Spritz come out of racing? I think there is Goncalves just in front. He might have lost out. Just in that middle sector phase, looking for a move is Sam Hewitt on skipper. And this is where the race really does start getting interesting because, well, we've got a battle, effective battle for P1, softs versus mediums, the battle of the 2 stops it looks like. But also they're coming up to guys who started the race on the mediums, on the hards, and Sam Hewitt has managed to get ahead as skipper. That might have been a sort of hanging around the outside kind of move, which seems to be quite a popular one for the C5 guys at the moment. Matt Johnson still in the back of Zabajaka. It's getting easier to pronounce, I think. Hope as well. As we work our way through the middle sector. Matt Johnson running a little bit wide. May have picked a warning there. I may have just about gotten away with it. Yellow flags, and we have a virtual safety car. Hugen has retired. Oh, and there he is on the right hand side, losing the car. And the VSC neutralises the race. Will any of these guys take advantage of this, come into the pit lane? That's not the gear you want to be in. Maybe put on a set of hards. I think we might see Huss doing that, taking advantage of the VSC. Zabajaka staying out. Matt Johnson's coming in, he's taking advantage. Goose staying out. Maverick staying out as well. I think it would have probably been a good time for the medium guys to come in. Oh, we've got a drive-throughs. We've got some drive-throughs. Alte picked up a drive-through. That's if you go a little bit too early. Let's see, has anyone else got one? Oh, Milo's got one as well. Oh, no, he hasn't. I thought he did. Nevertheless, oh, the Ferraris switching positions. Maverick and Sam Hewitt. Will there be a bit of teamwork? I think a bit of sensibleness between the 2 Ferrari guys. Matt Johnson. What's going on down here? Oh, there's a battle in front, there's a battle behind. Huss gets ahead of Alte. Jones can't keep ahead of Annoy Gamer. And Huss trying to hang this one around the outside. We've got a great view to watch this. It's going to pinch a little bit on the inside, but both of them, fair play, we've got to give each other room. And it is the Renault driver that comes out on top on this occasion. Oh, actually, the Renault driver almost into the wall there. Brilliant save. It must be saying Goncalves picks up a 3-second time penalty. That could be crucial towards the end of the race. Are we going to see him move down the inside into the chicane? That was always going to be a little bit iffy. Neugema did well to realise that one was not quite going to work for him. Shack Attack already all over the back of his rival because they're both on the back of the Renault. This could be very interesting on the run down towards Tom. Goncalves is he going to go for a move into the final corner? Not quite good as well to hold on to that one. Pui and Skipper have swapped places as well. Fresh hards coming on top of the mediums. Could we see a double move here? Can Shack Attack go for them both? Shack Attack might be thinking about the inside here. Who's later on the brakes? The Mercedes driver has gone down the inside. Bit of a lock up on the inside and a bit of a touch on the exit too. But I think that was, well, not quite a dead end, not sure. Can he try and hang it around the outside? No, it's soft tyres versus medium. This is your battle for the effective race leader. Who's going to come out on top? The Mercedes driver squeezed all the way, but he hangs it round the outside. That's a great move from Shack Attack to get 2 cars in, well, effectively 1 battle. Further back, Fifi can't find a way past Cosmo. Fifi holds on ahead of Cosmos. Cosmos, though, getting a great launch up the hill now. This could be messy as we come towards the top of the hill. Who's going to come out on top? Who's going to yield? The AlphaTauri just keeps ahead. I think Mayer picked a warning though for running just that little bit wide, but almost had to hold on to the position. Once again, the C5. Oh, I love a helicopter shot. The C5 proving that no matter what racetrack we're at, we can have some great racing. And Goncalves and Shack Attack already starting to close in on Zabajaka up the road. But this battle for P10 looks pretty fierce between a medium runner and a hard runner. So the end of the race can, I imagine, will get very interesting because of the differing strategies. Maybe closing on the back of Maverick. 9-lap fresher tyres, bit of a lock-up for the Ferrari driver. Shack Attack is the fastest lap of the race, 1 minute 18.9. DRS open now. for Pui. I think this could be a relatively easy move into turn 1, and we might also see a relatively easy move into turn 1 for Shagadai. Maybe a little bit late on the brakes, actually. Sam Hewitt goes down the inside of Gu. He's going to hold on to this one. Yellow flags. Oh, and that's the racing point. That's the racing point of Jabba facing the wrong way. Oh my gosh. You've got to remember there's no ghosting. Oh no, it has. It's cost him massively. Pui, no, it's Pui. Pui, it was doing a great race. He's got big front wing damage. The safety car has been called out. Oh, that's far from ideal. So gutting for Pui. Sabajaka maybe just a little bit frustrated, trying to rejoin as quickly as he could. And unfortunately, it looked like we didn't get a sort of a clear shot of it, but he may have clipped Pui there. And the Williams driver, well, at least for his sake, the safety car will mean he doesn't have as much of a penalty, but he can't pit for hards again. That's ideally probably what he would want to be doing. And thinking about going to the end, but gutting for him. You'd almost want to come in and just change the front wing. Big front wing damage for Zabajaka. I assume will coming in. He will be coming in for a set of hard tyres. I don't think we needed a safety car, but nevertheless, it can always spice things up. Shagatak now, of course, in the lead on those soft tyres from Goncalves. Oh, into the pit lane. Shagatak's coming into the pits. Interesting stuff here, and I'm kind of not surprised in a way. Goncalves staying out, Sam Hewitt staying out, Gu into the pit lane as well. Now, you'd expect that. He hasn't pitted yet. This is really going to benefit Gu. What tyres is Shagatak putting on? It's mediums for him now. And I would imagine he'd maybe try and go to the end. Could he go to the end? 22 laps on the mediums, I think, would be quite an ask. You would think, well, personally, I would have gone for what Gu went for. Put on a set of hards and try and go to the end of the race. I think it's very doable. We'll see. Try and work out how the field is ordered once everyone has completed their pit stops. A lot of guys into the pit lane. You see the Mercedes driver of Annoy Gamer. He's put on hards and looking to go to the end. Quite a few drivers are doing that. Quite a lot of guys on the mediums. But I guess if you come into the pit lane and you had hard tyres on, you can't put hard tyres on again. Unfortunately, I don't think you can you? Because you only have one set. I think you only have one set of hard tyres in the way the tyre allocation works. I think you do. Yeah, you probably do. So yeah, the only one you can't do is you can't go hard. As the field all joins up. I reckon we could go next lap. I reckon the field will have all rejoined up, but what this does do, you know, it brings drivers back into play, and it's all to play for. Top 15 score points. So as things stand, only 3 drivers will be not scoring points. That was good English. We've got the telemetry data up. Everyone now, Daddy Spirits, will another lap under the safety car, will get back up to 100% ERS. And so will everybody else. A bit of a battle going on here. Not quite. Everyone served their respective. You can't overtake. You can't overtake. What's he doing? What's he doing? Can't overtake under safety car. I may have misread that situation. Oh, and now he's in the wall. Do not know what was going on there. Oh, it's a George Ruskell moment. Really aggressive tyre warming up on the straight. I'm not sure. Maybe he... I don't know. Maybe he was meant to be in P13 and they just swapped it around. Nevertheless, we'll move on. I'm sure there'll be a student inquiry if there needs to be one. But we only saw sort of the aftermath of that. Didn't see the build up to it. So no worries on that one. Of course, all back to behind the safety car. So I would imagine we can get going at the end of this lap. I hope we can. We're still not even at half race distance. I mean, that's how... And you're thinking, all the excitement we've had so far, I'm not even halfway through. And the beautiful thing about the safety car, it neutralises it all, it resets everything, and we can get, have more action towards the end of this race. Strategy. Oh, and that's one of the Williams has gone off. What happened there? Not a great... Oh, and there's been a collision further back. He's probably got more penalties. He seems to be quite aggressive on this. He's out to 11 seconds. Is the Williams driver. Maybe just that little bit frustrated. He was having such a great sort of start to this race, and it all unwound when he caught up with Zabajaka trying to rejoin. However, the safety car is into the pit lane. Goncalves will lead the field. We'll try and work out when he decides to put his foot to the floor. Safety car is only there, so there's you're going to have to back the field up quite a bit. He's going to have the advantage with the 3 cars behind on the hard compound tyres. That's an interesting line around there, but he's trying to get the best launch onto the main straight he can, and there he goes. He is off and away, and look at the gap he has already built, and that's just the difference in tyre temperature. I would imagine the Ferrari already breaking the toe because he knows behind it's going to get very racy. Shack Attack on the medium tyres, got 6 lap fresher tyres. Will he try and go down the inside? Yes, he will. Lockups in front. Danny Spritz goes a little bit deep, a little bit wayward on the exit. That's going to put Fifi on the back of him, but they're wheel to wheel. There's been a collision further back. What's happened down the field? In the wall is one of the Renaults. I think that could be Goo. Up in the front though, Shack Attack trying to hang this one around the outside. Danny Spritz holding on around the outside. He keeps hold of P3. Can Shack Attack move himself out of P5? Now it's a drag race up towards the top of the hill. Towards turn 5, but it looks like Cosmos has just got the better straight line speed. He keeps ahead. Huss closes in on the battle as well. And further back is not gone well for Goo. 5 seconds for a Norring yellow flag. I assume there was some illegal overtake going on. Of course, that awkward moment when it says illegal overtake, but the car spun and mile backwards. So that's probably maybe what happened there. As Skipper in P9, he's made up a couple of positions. So channeling that aggression to make some overtakes, and Shack Attack not quite finding a way past Cosmos. Great defending from Cosmos, it must be said. And now he's looking to battle away with Fifi in front. Sam Hewitt picks up his 3rd and final warning, so he picks up 3 seconds. Doubly added to the end of his race. The thing I love about C5, they completely just go for it, and it's brilliant. Oh, in contact, double contact, as Cosmos taps the back of Fifi, and Shack Attack taps the back of Cosmos. Maybe Huss got involved in the tapping as well, but we're not too sure. No DRS, of course, until 2 laps out of the safety car. But this battle between P4 is one we're going to want to keep an eye on over the next couple of laps. Pui already wheel alongside, that wasn't English, alongside Skipper. Maverick watching this one. Maverick's going to try and go around the outside of Skipper. It's be a great move if he can pull it off. I don't think he can. Annoy Gamer and Orteo's side by side as well. Everyone's side by side. We can see the McLaren and the Ferrari up in front as well. Skipper, I think, is going to get muscled out of it on the inside, and we've seen that as well as Orteo holds on to P12. It's been great racing from C5. It always is. Zabajaka getting involved in the battle as well. Oh, and Annoy Gamer having a bit of a twitch, but held the car pretty well, it must be said. The 2 Williams in 8th and 9th. Huss, a bit of an awkward chicane for him. Matt Johnson's slidey exit. Many couldn't. Ooh, he's not very comfortable on those hard tyres. Are they up to temperature? Because his teammate is all at the back of him. Will we see a move? Oh, and he tried to find a pass that maybe wasn't really on. It did well to avoid a spin after there was a slight bit of contact. However, we're going to return to the battle for P4. Huss has dropped back, and we saw that mistake for him down at the chicane. Of course, no DRS to worry about for Fifi. He'll keep ahead. He would hope, but DRS is now unable to have to worry about it on the start of the next lap. Cosmos, can he gain? Overtake is enabled. Fifi, oh, Poby's into the pit lane. Maybe he could pick up better wing damage. Conserve some of those penalties he got. I think he got 2 5-second penalties, plus a 3. Definitely got 1 5 seconds. He'll be hoping to serve. No moves in a battle for P4. Annoyed Gamer right all over the back of Voltaire. This battle, of course, was a battle that was on last lap. But the Mercedes driver not close enough to think about a move around the outside on lap 17. And we carry on. Further back, Octavio. And Zabajaka closing this one. Annoyed Gamer has not had the best of runs through turn 5. Zabajaka thought about moving down the inside, but it's really not an overtaking opportunity. And the Racing Point driver did well to only get a little bit of wing damage. That's unfortunate for him. Dropping positions, and well, a race that goes from bad to worse for him. He was in a really good position just before that first safety car period. And he actually caused the first safety car period, unfortunately. I don't think it was a safety car worthy incident, but there we go, and things get from bad to worse, but needs to keep pushing. There's still points in this race, I would imagine. It's, if anything, but over, I would say. Shack Attack seems to have had a really good exit. Fifi has got DRS. Shack Attack has got Fifi does not have DRS. Cosmos had DRS. Can he find a move? Shack Attack actually is going to be the one going for the move, and actually, almost avoiding. Had to take avoiding action there. Did Cosmos, and now he's going to spin the car as well. Awkwardly trapped on the inside, has to spin it round, and that's gutting for the Alfa Romeo driver, who was in a really good position in this race. After pitting before the safety car period, made it quite a position, but now drops down to P15. Really unfortunate for him. But that makes life a little bit easier for Shakhtar and Fifi. Maverick starting to pressure Johnston, apologies. Maverick on fresher tyres and on a step softer compound, and was that a warning? That was very close on the chicane there. Octavio, a little bit of train in the battle for P10. Of course, all these guys in the points in this battle. Cosmos getting close to Milo too. Will Shakhtar find a way past Fifi this time around? Round the final corner, almost setting himself up for a good launch onto the main straight. Overtaken enabled, DRS enabled. And I think this could be quite a simple move down the inside towards turn number 1. And I think Fifi sort of knows it's coming. Oh, he cuts back across though. But it's all fine, a bit of a lock-up. He gets away with it. Maverick down the inside of Matt Johnston, just behind the Williams driver. Oh, getting a bit wayward on the traction, and that's going to cost him. If it was a little bit smoother, he might have been able to hold on position. Alteo and Annoy Gamer still battling away, but the Renault driver having DRS means he holds on to the position relatively easily. Down there, Zabajaka and Gu swapping places. Gu goes down the inside. Gu gets ahead. Zabajaka got a little bit of front wing damage. He's got quite a bit of front damage. He's missing a whole sort of the whole of one side there. So he's really going to be struggling. You would expect, just with the front downforce of the car. Sam Hewitt and Daddy Spritz. Well, for me, this is potentially the battle for the win. Unless we have any major dramas in this race, because I don't think Goncalves can go to the end on those mediums. It's going to be a really tall order for him to do that. And Cosmo, he's power sliding there. That was rally stuff, did expertly well. I think to avoid wing damage, or we didn't really see what happened there. It might have been wheel to wheel with Milo. But on full lock, sliding his way through. Yeah, one on avoiding wing damage. Annoy Gamer on the back of Alteo. This battle's still going on, but of course, in front, the Renault driver does have DRS. He's got the legs on him just about. He now flicks to the inside as the Mercedes driver. Mercedes moving up ahead of the Renault. He's a little bit later on the brakes, but the Renault driver's going to fight this one back. He's got a great switchback using those medium tyres, even though they're a little bit old. He'll be on the outside now, but I think maybe just running out of overtake available to him, and Annoy Gamer keeps hold, and well, for him it'll be a well-earned P10 position. He'll be happy with that one, and Zabajaka is into the pit lane. I should change that front wing. Put set it hard, so he'll be thinking about going to the end of this race, I would imagine. Maverick's had a good race, it must be said. I think the only driver to start on the hard made up quite a few positions in this one. And for me, this is kind of a debate. If Goncalves can't go to the end, can Shakhtar? I think it will be a really tall order to take the mediums to the end. They normally do about sort of 16 laps, I think. So he might just better make it work, but those last couple of laps could be touch and go for the Mercedes driver. Of course, no penalties at the moment is a massive advantage in his corner. And further back, Jones into the pit lane. Deciding to enough of these mediums, and then maybe we'll think about going for another set of mediums or hards to the end, is what I would expect to see put on this racing point. Can't see what they do now. Set of mediums. Good call, I think. Medium should go comfortably to the end, and he's going to return onto the track. The first, I would say, of the two stoppers to come into the pit lane only come out in relation to Pui. Pui's going to get ahead. Pui isn't yet. They're going to be racing down towards turn 1. Jones will wanting to keep ahead. Can the Williams driver go round the outside? It's going to be a battle out the pit lane, and that was never going to work, was it? Jones clipped around. Luckily, no one around, so he can get going once again. But maybe a door that was just ever closing. Unfortunate for him. Straight out the pit lane, he was in a good position. You would have thought, especially with some of these guys having to pit again. You'd imagine the likes of Alteo have to pit again. Cosmos had to pit again on those medium tyres. I think everyone on the hards probably could stretch it to the end. Touch and go for the likes of Fifi, who's on 13 lap tyres, and Sam Hewitt out in front. It could be touch and go for him as well. But we're seeing Shakhtar close in on the two hard runners in front of him. But also, if you're Goncalves, you want to pit. You don't want to try and stretch it, and then by lap 30 you realise you can't do it. and only have 5 laps to try and make up the time you lose from the pit stop. So I'd almost think if he can find a gap, maybe try and slot in ahead of the Annoyed Gamer battle. Annoyed Gamer leading skipper. And there's a bit of a gap between Annoyed Gamer and Matt Johnson. Maybe he can try and filter his way into that gap. Maybe he can, if he crunches the numbers. I'm sure. I think there's a on your MFD, there's a sort of predicted pit stop position where you come out when you pit. I think that's quite optimistic to slot into that gap. Maybe just behind, sort of in front of the Alfa Romeo of Cosmos. Alteo and Jones still going at it. Oh, they're going at it. Alteo, oh, and that was a bit late on the break. Day late and $1 short. It's definitely damage for the Racing Point and for the Renault. It's a move that benefited absolutely nobody. Racing Point is ahead though after that one. And now on the main straight once again. Problem is there a bit of a DRS train. Danny Spritz is not using his DRS. It's quite interesting. Jones gets a 3-second time penalty. At the end of his race, now he enables a bit of DRS, and well, sort of who can save the most energy. Danny Spritz, he's losing out in terms of that battle. Milo, well, Octavia pretty close. Milo, oh, he tried a bit of a switchback, but he goes in a little bit deep, keeping it 4th gear. He wanted to really sort of dull the track, dull the revs on the exit there, not wanting to spin the tyres up too much. And what's happening here? Danny Spritz, that seemed to be a bit of a through you go, sunshine. What's happened down one of the Racing Points, and Jones is facing almost the wrong way in the pit lane. Can we see him move in the pits? I'll tell you, he's gone for it, and fair play to him. I'll tell you, wasn't going to wait. Both of those guys into the pit lane now, and Shack Attack is ahead. Jones is retired. Oh, we don't want to retire. There could be a safety car. Points for the top 15. But we're now down to 17 runners in this one. And Danny Spritz, I wonder why he let him through. It's interesting. Maybe just realising he doesn't want to get involved in a battle. Maybe just wants to sit in the DRS train. Potentially yellow flags in front. That's just Jones retiring in the pits. Unfortunate. It is what it is. Well, actually, Alteo's coming to the pit lane, isn't he? But he's put on old mediums. He's selected mediums. All he's got is used mediums. He's put on an old set. That's not ideal for him. Maybe would have wanted to put on a set of hards instead, but just not realising he didn't have a new set available to him. And Shack Attack. I can't say which way this race is going to go. It's going to be very interesting. And maybe it could be a case of none of the favourites we're looking at here either. 11 laps left in this one. Danny Spritz, maybe trying to play it a little bit tactically. Wants to sit behind, work on his own race. Shack Attack has the advantage. No penalties. A quick penalty check. Sam Hewitt has 8 seconds, 8 for Fifi. A lot of guys on the top 8 have 3. That's when it stands. Shack Attack would jump up the order. Alteo get out of the way very nicely, it must be said, actually, for a blue flag, so fair play to him. Never a nice thing to do, and of course with no ghosting you sort of have to do it properly. As we start lap number 25 in the battle for P2. Ever closing is Shack Attack. Will he be close enough for a move down into turn 1? Not quite on this occasion. Short shifts up into 3rd gear. Both of them using all the track on the exit, and I don't think he's going to be close enough on this occasion as well. Danny Spritz just happy behind them at the moment. 2 lap fresher tyres than Sam Hewitt in front. Octavio close to skipper. Could we see a move into turn 3? I don't think he's going to be close enough by the time they get down there. On this occasion, Danny Spritz so about 2nd, but it's really close to Shack Attack and Sam Hewitt. Maybe Sam's hards starting just to go off a little bit as Matt Johnson picks up 3 seconds, as you can see at the bottom of your screen. I think Shack Attack definitely has just a grip advantage at the moment. I think that's why he's sort of close to the back of Sam Hewitt. Sam actually carried a lot more speed through there. I thought he may have reminded to pick up a warning, but didn't look like it from our POV. Made their way through the penultimate corner, a long hairpin, just feels like never going to end, and then you get into another one. bit of a moment there, almost an understeer slide there. Danny Spritz just reeled himself back into contention in this one. Shackleton though deciding he wants to go for the move, overtaking DRS Enabled. He's going to be ahead, and when they get down towards turn number 1, I think that's a relatively easy move. One of the more easier moves he's made. Sam Hewitt goes a little bit deep. Will that invite Danny Spritz to have a go? Of course, Sam doesn't have DRS because you get a double dosage of the DRS. And the order is as it was as the drivers left turn number 1. And we carry on. Well, with 9 laps left in this race, will Goncalves come into the pit lane for a set of softs maybe to the end? Maybe that's what he's thinking about. Does he have a new set available to him? I wouldn't have thought so. Probably just a set that's done qualifying. Where they slot out, Gwyn Pui trying to go down the inside, or Pui going around the outside. But now it's a drag race down towards turn 1. Oh, a bit of a moment there for the Williams driver. I think because he has DRS, he might have been behind when we started the lap. And unfortunately for him, he's got to have another lap behind. There's a lot of pollen on the track. Where's that come from? I don't know. However, it's Pui who still has the fast lap of the race. As things stands, I think he will be keeping it. I think top 15, you can get a fastest lap. As they weave their way through this middle sector now. The Williams driver putting a lot of pressure on the Renault. Almost lining up a move into there. I've never seen a move designed for that corner. They've asked to hold off for the time being. We'll see now, will he be close enough to make a move in towards turn number 1? He'll be thinking all about that exit out of the final corner. That's the all-important one for him. And overtaking DRS Enabled. Yellow flag in sector 2. That's a Ferrari. Sam Hewitt. Sam Hewitt's facing the wrong way. Apologies to the battle we were watching. Sam Hewitt, has he got wing damage? He does have wing damage. Oh, that's gunning for Sam. He was in a great position. I feel like he could have stretched the hards. But we've seen a couple victims at the top of turn 5. And unfortunately we've seen another. However, I think he will come into the pit lane at the end of this lap and think about putting on a set. He's just got no mechanical grip at the front of the car. The tyre as well. The tyres are gonna, well, the tyres are screaming at the moment. I mean, the 19 lap old hards are not going to give you a lot of grip. And he'll be straight into the pit lane, I would imagine. Oh, gunning for Sam. Gunning for Sam, driven a great race so far. He's producing a lot of victims, sadly, up there. And he will be into the pit lane. Just, oh, you can see him on the minimap just understeering. Just to let people through, and he wants to find a way into the pit lane, which he now does. But still, I mean, oh, and he picks up 5 seconds just to compound his woes. I think he's got a 5-second penalty to serve. Fortunately for Sam, he's got to back off a little bit. Lose a little bit of time just so you don't have the 5 seconds. It's probably worth it. Cosmos, 3 seconds for him. I'll say well done, Shack Attack, Annoy Gamer and Skipper. No penalties for them so far in this race. And Shack Attack, well, we're going to have to watch that delta now between himself and Goncalves. It's as we sort of, I've been looking at it for the last couple corners, and it definitely is coming down a little bit. So we'll do a lap check over the course of the next lap. Goncalves, is he staying out or is he coming to the pits? He's staying out. Maybe he's committing to go to the end. I think that'd be quite bold, taking the medium tyres this long. Have to see how it pans out. Of course, 6 laps left in this race. The gap now 5.4 seconds as they cross the line. 5.4 is what it is. Seems to be a bit quicker on the straights, does the Mercedes. Not the first time anyone said that, but maybe running a little bit less wing in this race on his setup. It was 5.4, 5.3. Shack pushing this time around. Who's got more confidence at the top of the hill? And actually, it's Goncalves. He sort of gained all the time. He sort of lost presets another fastest lap of the race on 11 lap old medium. So fair play, and that just shows the pace he had. His race, I think he would have very much been up, in this battle up near the front if it wasn't for that little incident he got sort of caught up in, no fault of his own. And towards the end of the middle sector, Skipper picks up 3 seconds. And well, that's one of our trio losing out, and that's a yellow flag, and that's Milo. Milo's had a moment, facing the wrong way, gets his spun round, and he needs to find the right gear. And fair play to him, waits for Pui to make his way past, but gutting for Milo. May have caught that sort of raised concrete curb on the inside. Yellow flag in sector 1. That's one of the racing points. I mean, it's just gutting for Sabajaka. He's now going to have Goncalves down his inside, but still only one position away from the points. Shagsack now within 5 seconds, and I think Goncalves might be going to the end of this race. Fair play to him, he can make it work, but Shagsack will have the advantage. 4 lap fresher tyres, and of course don't forget the hard tyre guys behind, they're on pretty old tyres too. I'm surprised no one else come into the pit lane. Cosmos, he's on 22 lap old mediums. Fair play to him. Got my respect. I mean, that's a hell of a stint on the medium tyres. But of course, Shagatak, he knows that Sam Hewitt's is the fastest lap of the race on a brand new set of mediums. Shagatak knows he's only got to find 1.4 seconds and he will be the race winner because of penalties. So it's only 3 seconds for Goncalves. Daddy Sprit's a little bit safe at the moment, you would have thought, in P3, because he's got a 9-second lead over Fifi, and Fifi's got, you know, more penalties than he has, 5 seconds more to be precise. Oh, I don't like it when it's sort of weird gear glitch when it just smashes the rev limiter, even though it probably isn't actually at the rev limiter. Anyway, Shagatak, he's finding times. Look at that through turn 1. Found like 2/10 on the entry, I reckon. Get the lap data up. Make it interesting. 3.7 seconds, I think. Well, Goncalves has got Sabajaka behind him. Sabajaka on relatively, well, 9 lap old hards versus 21 lap old mediums. I don't think that's a fair fight, it must be said. They need to be careful how they do this. We've seen how a Racing Point overtakes a race leader. It was a Force India at the time, I think. No, it was Racing Point. Need to be careful how he does this. And Shagatak, well, 3.4 seconds behind. He'll be liking the sight of that. He'll be able to see it on his mini-map, I'm sure. Oh, it looks like he thought about the move. This is not going to be helping Goncalves. He needs to be focusing and just trying to push on, because he's, well, his lead when they cross the race line. He's coming to the pit lane. Goncalves is into the pits for a late burst of the soft tyres. And is that Sabajaka following him in? Yes, it is. Shagatak will stay out. I think he is going to the end. Goncalves surely putting on a set of soft compound tyres. I reckon with the gaps, it could be touch and go. Someone's gone very wide there. We didn't really see what happened. Which of the Renaults is it? It's Old Tate. What happened to him? He doesn't have wing damage. I don't know what happened there. Maybe just sort of forgot to brake. Skipper and Octavio swapping places. Yellow flags are out. Not sure, to be honest. Goncalves out in P3. It's worked well for him. He's got out ahead of Fifi. He'll be putting the hammer down now. He's going to have the pace. He's going to have the grip. Oh, and Alto's out in the pit lane. Scanning for him. We watch the delta between Goncalves and Daddy Spritz, because I imagine 22 lap old hards versus brand new out the box softs. There's only going to be one winner in this one. We're going to see. It's a bit like, I think it's Luca Giotto versus Callum Eilert in 2019. I think it was Eilert who put on a brand new set of the sort of the softs right at the end, and he was reeling in Giotto a race of knots, and it was, well, as he ended up about 2/10 between them. I think Goncalves might have the advantage this time around, as he's already pulled in 2 seconds. We're going to have 3 laps left for the Haas to try and close in. I think that's a battle of the podium. I think other than that, the podium is probably sorted in terms of Shagatak, Daddy Spritz and Goncalves, unless there's any major incidents. Just depends what order they are in. Well, let's see what I imagine could be the fastest lap of this race. And using a bit of overtake, he's probably going to be thinking about that a little bit as well. Of course, you gain the extra points, or point. And now climbing towards the top of the hill. What's this middle sector going to look like? 27.4, almost 7 tenths of a second up on what he's previously done. The gap 6 seconds in himself and Daddy Spritz is one thing to catch a car, but another to pass it. That's what Daddy Spritz will be hoping, both of them. Even on the penalty battles, actually, this could be very interesting. Zabajaka gets 3 seconds added to his time. And the middle sector 1.4 seconds up. We got 5 seconds between himself and Daddy Spritz. We'll see what time Daddy Spritz does, and then we'll drop back and compare it to Goncalves. Around the final corner for the Alfa Romeo driver. He's dealt with pressure before. He's dealt with the likes of Justice before. Former C1 champion. It's a 19 flat for Daddy Spritz. It's a 16.6. He's balled out 2 and a bit seconds. This is going to get close. Of course, the main overtaking opportunity down towards turn 1. I reckon Goncalves will catch Daddy Spritz towards the end of the final lap. It's going to be touch and go between these two. Of course, the pace advantage definitely falls with Goncalves. Oh, Matt Johnson facing the wrong way into the wall, and that's not what you want on the penultimate lap of the race. Can he get this one going? Oh my god, that was close. And on hot tyres, got to be very careful when rejoining course in P12. Still in the points, but losing a couple of positions, dropped behind his teammate and Cosmo and Skipper. Yellow flag in sector 1. Oh, he's dropped it again. I think maybe just to cook the tyres a little bit. Milo says thank you very much. I think we're going to see Goo say thank you very much. And now he's going to spin his Williams around. He can't wait too long because Sam Hewitt is not far behind and setting very quick times on those medium tyres. Here is Sam Hewitt. Sam gets ahead, however Matt Johnson is in the points, so he needs to make sure he finishes. The gap is now 2.1 seconds. I'm not sure he can do it. It's going to be mega close. Yellow flag, and oh, those tyres are cooked, aren't they, on the Williams driver. Unfortunately losing at the top of turn number 5. But this is the battle. I think it looks like, unless there are any major dramas, Shag Attack is going to pull off the impossible and do 22 laps. Big lock-up there, but do 22 laps on the medium tyres. It will be a mega final stint for him. And I can't say I'm definitely very happy as a Mercedes driver myself. But this is the battle we are going to be looking at over the final lap of this race. Pui very close to the back of Skipper as well. The two Haas cars have actually had a very good race. Haas making up a lot of positions. It must be said, Skipper and Pui swap places. Skipper trying to hold it on the inside. Can Pui get a better exit? It's going to be a drag race and have DRS. I think that's going to give them the advantage. And it's P9 for Williams driver. Can Skipper hold to him around the outside? He's going to try it, but I think just with that hard tyre, he's not going to be able to do so. And sort of run out a little bit. Shut the door. There we go. Back to the battle near the front. It's going to be so close. We're on the final lap of this race. Oh, Goncalves picked up another penalty. Oh, he was on his final warning. And that is the battle very much done and dusted. Shag Attack, though, comes towards the final corner. He rounds it. He knows what's happening. And across the line, he will take the win here in round number 1. No penalties to his name. Fair play. Great racing. Daddy Spritz takes P2 from Goncalves. Close battle between those two. The Subaru at 4 tenths on track. Fifi, I mean, another driver with a mega final stint. 27 laps on the hard tyres. I'm sure he will love to see the other side of those as he takes P4 on track. Huss in P5 jumps him. So brilliant result as Annoyed Gamer goes over to P4. So less penalties for Annoyed Gamer. He'll be very happy with that. Huss takes P5, 6 for the Maverick. Fifi drops down to P7. Octavia P8. Pui now Skipper's up in the P8. Octavia P9. Pui P10. Cosmos takes 11. Milo crosses the line and is P12. Goop crosses the line and is 13th. Sam Hewitt, a race of what could have been for him, unfortunately. And he's P14. Matt Johnson, I believe, well, he will take P15 because Zabajaka has crossed the checkered line. So he'll take the final point in this evening's race. A little bit unlucky for Matt Johnson on the final laps. Would have been well inside the points, but still picks up a point. And every point counts, I think, in this championship, especially in the overall Constructors' Championship. But it's Shag Attack who is your race winner today. Great drive, great final stint from him. And I can't say I'm a little bit pleased, especially as a Mercedes driver. Driver of the day goes to Maverick. Yeah, I can see that. I can see that. A great race from him. Made up a lot of positions. Some solid, some clinical overtakes as well. But Mercedes on the top step, like they were in C2. Good week for Mercedes, I think, on the overall. 2 race wins, I think, as a team. They'll be very happy. And 2 Brits on the podium as well. So another, big up the Brits. But well done as well to Goncalves. Just missing out. Could he have stayed out, or would he have got a puncture? I think that's, maybe he was just protecting from a puncture. But coming in, I think maybe a couple laps early would have been beneficial for him. But nevertheless, a fast lap point as well. But it's P1 for Shark Attack, P2 for Daddy Spirits. Goncalves rounds at the podium in P4. Great race for Mercedes overall, as Annoy Gamer is in 4th, not gaining as much penalties. And really did gain out. They didn't have any penalties. That's why the 2 Mercedes drivers, the only ones without penalties. So great work from Mercedes. Huss, look at that, up from 17th. Maverick as well, up from 18th. That's why those guys, sort of the drivers of the day, because of course everyone just gives it to the people who make the most places. But I think you have to give them credit, it must be said. Good job from them. Fifi is 7th, missing out unfortunately from some extra penalties. However, who knows, they could get removed. Skipper is P8, Octavio is P9. Pretty unfortunate for him, it could have been so much better. But P10, still some solid points. Cosmos is 11th, Milo is 12th, Q in 13th, Sam Hewitt is 14th. Matt Johnson rounds out the points in 15th. Zabajaka rounds out our finishers in 16th. Then unfortunately, Alte, Jones and Eugene didn't make the finish. But it's been a great week of racing, and we journey to the Circuit de Barcelona, Catalonia, where of course F1 is this weekend. So everyone I'm sure will be watching, thinking about trying to gain all the pointers they can for the real drivers, and we'll be applying it next week for round number 2. But we've seen how competitive C5 is once again. C5, of course, not disappointing once again. And what a way to finish the round 1 this week. We'll see everybody next week. Of course, the F1 action kicks off on Tuesday with C1 and C4.